Welcome back to another episode of Lost in the Farmer's Market Garden Life, where today we're looking at this lovely and amazing specimen here, which is dappled with rain because it's spritzed. A little bit, a lot of bit. Everything out here is moist, but that's beside the point. The scientific name of this plant is Nasturtium officinale, or watercress. Yeah, I know what you're thinking. Wait, but I thought nasturtium was. Well, the things we commonly call nasturtium are actually Tropaeolum, which is an entirely different species. This, and there's Alistair in the background being a goofball, this right here is in the cabbage family. It's Brassicaceae. And nasturtium, if I recall correctly, derives from Greek, which means nose twister, meaning that the smell when you crush the foliage can be a bit strong. That's the original, that's the other nasturtium, but they share the same name, so the definition should be the same, even though watercress is mild and tasty. Now, watercress is native to Eurasia, and it's become naturalized in North America. We're going to talk about that in a second in more detail, but let's get through the hard information. So, it is a fast-growing perennial in zones 3 through 11, meaning it's highly adaptable. More for us. Its pH range preference is 6.5 to 7.5, and it prefers wet soils. Interesting? Its exposure is full sun to partial, and here it gets full sun for about half the day, and then it's in shade for the afternoon into the evening. Its height can be 18 to 24 inches tall, and its width per plant can be 12 inches. Now, this is a cluster of plants, actually. This isn't just one plant, but it's starting to get into the harvestable stage where I can take a pair of scissors and snip the tops off and use it. And it'll just be like, ha, I'm going to regrow that because it's hardcore like that. Well, anyway, other names for this plant is just basically cress, though I'm sure there are some old country nicknames for it too. Now, let's get into that whole wet soil business first. I noted that it prefers wet soils because it is considered an aquatic or semi-aquatic plant. In this case, it is growing in a bowl planter with this cocoa fiber. I cleared out the dirt and put the bowl planter in there. And it basically keeps it a little more humid than normal because the plastic bowl actually keeps more moisture in, and then there's when the fiber is wet, it stays wet for a while, and that's more humidity. But anyway, its old scientific name was cruciferae because its flowers resembled a cross. Cruciferae was the scientific name for a lot of things in the cabbage family, even though when cruciferae was the name, they weren't all exactly linked together. It is considered an introduced species in North America, South America, Australia, South Africa, and New Zealand. However, in 46 states, it is considered a noxious invasive. Good thing I put it in a bowl planter. I have no plans of letting this one loose, folks, but still, an noxious invasive that is edible, but it grows like mint, setting down roots anywhere the nodes touch soil or experience prolonged moisture. This is a plant for wet soil, so if you have boggy ground and you think you can keep it contained, here's your plant. Now, fortunately, it is vulnerable to every herbicide on the market, and it does not tolerate foot traffic, so you can kill it pretty easily if it gets out of hand. You know, if it comes to that. But anyway, there is a hazard to this plant. Wild collected foliage of this plant should be washed thoroughly and ideally cooked. Yes, you can cook watercress. It makes for an interesting stew green. To avoid parasites like Giardia. You see, this can also be a host to Giardia, which is basically causes a bunch of gastrointestinal discomfort. Basically, the squirts, the trots, yada yada. Real fun. But it also can be a host to the liver fluke, which is a problem. That's why you don't want to pick it wild. You want to grow it from seed yourself if you're going to have it, or buy it from a reputable dealer. You know, like a garden center or something, because they probably grew it from cuttings or seed, and therefore it should be fairly safe. Now, here's an interesting fact. Despite all that, watercress is one of the oldest leaf vegetables known to man. It has been eaten for a very long time by multiple cultures. So it's pretty proven it can't poison you. That's good news. Now, my last fact for you is that the stems are hollow and they float. So that's a good ID feature. If you can take the stem and throw it in water and it floats and it's hollow, it may be this, but also look at those leaves. I mean, look at these leaves. It almost looks like the creasy greens I did last year, and they are in the same family, so there's that. So, this is watercress. And you probably should have it as a cut green in your garden because a perennial leaf green is totally worth it, and they're harder to find than you'd think. Plus, this one's super easy, and it responds to fertilizer really, really well. So, that's all I have for you in this episode. I'm sorry for the delay in getting these up here, but the weather wouldn't cooperate, and this is filmed in the field, so it's kind of hard to do that when it's raining sideways. Electronics don't like that. Go figure. Anyway, as always, folks, keep them growing. The Forge blog will be coming back next year, in January, I'm hoping. And that's it. Thank you for watching.